Welcome to The Leap with Japa, the podcast that bridges continents and connects stories. Join us as we dive into the vibrant world of international education, explore diverse cultures, and share the extraordinary journeys of students far from home. Whether you're dreaming of studying abroad or already embarking on this adventure through other means, Leap with Japa is your companion in navigating the exciting, challenging, and transformative world of global education. Let's leap into today's episode. Hello and welcome to Leap with Japa. My name is Sahid. This is a long time coming. My wife, kids, friends have pushed me to do this, and this is my attempt to offload a lot of information to everyone out there about living in the US. So the podcast's mission essentially is to outline the various experiences of people, friends, family that have essentially gone on the voyage of transferring or transplanting themselves from Nigeria to anywhere in the abroad being America, UK. However, this podcast would explicitly deal with the US experience that I have dealt with. So it's become more popular in the last few years that people are, leaving Nigeria. And this podcast aims to kind of give you an insight into how you should go about making that leap and to give you stories from people who have made that leap. Stories based on insights that I've provided for them to let them understand. So to give you a backdrop of myself, I left Nigeria in 2015 for grad school in the US. Prior to leaving, I was a returnee from the UK in 2010 after my master's back then. And I came back to Nigeria to, try to explore opportunities. It didn't work out for me. Worked out for other people. Worked out well for some other people. So for me, it didn't work out. So I decided to come back to grad school. And my connection to the Japa movement is that I did it when no one was actually looking at doing that. So I came at a time when there was no pressure to leave. So that's my connection to this, and the hope is to provide you insights into what you should expect as someone who either has left the country or is intending to leave, and what you should do. So let me just give you an overview of what this podcast series would cover. I would go over school applications. I know it's boring, but I would go over the thought process of choosing a school. I would go over the mechanics of choosing schools. To just give you a quick overview of that. You don't have to go to the top schools to succeed in the US. So you don't have to be in a Stanford or a Harvard. We would get to the mechanics of getting into school and getting a job. I would also talk about adjusting to a new culture. So typically what you would expect is you have seen America through the lens of the media, through the lens of movies. They're two different things. So there's what the movie tells you about this place, and there is what this place actually is. They're not far apart, but there's a disconnect between what you see on the screen and what you actually experience here, and that is a system. So typically most people grew up in a particular system. If you say, but I didn't grow up in a system, well, that means you grew up in a system that had no system. So you're transplanting yourself. You need to learn a lot about where you are going. So I'm going to talk about essentially adjusting to that, and also handling homesickness. You have to learn how to mentally adjust to the foods, the American way, to getting Nigerian food. So we'll talk about a lot of that. We're going to talk about success stories. Mine would be one of the first ones you would hear throughout this podcast, but I will bring in other international students and other immigrants who have passed through the system, either through my own insights based on the advice I gave them over the years and how they've succeeded. We're going to talk about my system. So I have a system that works probably only for tech-inclined people. However, that system can be applied to other kinds of roles, so tech and non-tech. So we're going to go through this. We're also going to cover practical tips for day-to-day living. So, where do I get food? What do I eat? Where do I stay? How much do I budget? We're going to go over the practicality of living. So one thing I can immediately say is different states in America have different living expenses. We're going to talk about the implications, the taxes, how things work. Should I stay in a state that doesn't pay taxes? What is the difference between the grocery stores? Do I spend money? So practical daily tips, we're going to talk about that. Then we're going to talk about emotional and psychological aspects of the Japa experience. There is an emotional aspect and a psychological one, because you are transplanting yourself from a community-based environment in Nigeria to one where there isn't a community. It's individualistic. We're going to talk about that transition and how you can recreate a community-based system for yourself so you don't feel isolated. One thing I can immediately tell you is rule number one: never isolate yourself. It's very, very damaging to keep yourself. To be a loner is very difficult. We're going to discuss how you can essentially connect to people. So to just give you an insight about myself, so I left in 2015. I left for grad school in Prairie View, A&M, Texas, a historically black college. And the aim was to see if I could transition into the tech industry here. And I went through grad school to do a master's in computer science, which was great. I was able to complete that, and then I transitioned into doing an internship in Santa Clara in California, and then I was able to get a return offer. So I have been able to lean on the experience of others to try and get more info for myself. So one of the things I've learned quickly, a quick lesson that I've learned, is always rely on the experience of others. Never be too shy of opening up to find out, hey, how do I do this? Hey, how do I get an internship? What was your experience like? Could you tell me what I need to do? One thing that really, really helps living in America is having access to information and not being afraid to say, I don't know, can you help me? That would open up a lot of doors. Another thing that would help is for you to research a bunch of and there are lots of websites out there that give very good information and forums that you can sit in to learn more about the experience of the US. And then you combine all of this information and make an informed decision for yourself. So one of the major insights I've learned is, being able to quickly get information and process that information and, to apply that to whatever it is I want to do. So one of the things that I'm promising my listeners can gain from listening to this podcast is expect to get very critical advice on how to succeed after you've moved over to the US. The system works. The system is the system. So be aware that if you think you might be able to jump corners or cut corners rather, it doesn't work. The system will reset you. So if you think you don't need to get an internship probably to get full-time offer, it is possible, but you might experience some kind of delay if you don't put in so much work in, get an internship, for example. It's because it helps. And there's a system to get an internship. It's not just I want an internship. So there is a way, there is a process. And I have over the years tried and trusted process that has worked. So I'm expecting you to learn a lot from, people that I've helped and myself, who is currently still going through the system. So that's that, and I'm hoping this is going to be a platform for inspiration to help others. And I'm also hoping you're going to push other people to, you need to listen to Leap with Japa. Saheed is giving out, pretty much free information out there. So you're not going to, get this anywhere else. And I'm using this medium to try and see if I can reach a lot more people and to inspire a lot more people with the advice I may be able to give to make your Japa experience much more comfortable. So I would encourage you to actually send in your questions and stories for future episodes. I am open. This is the very first episode, so I'm very, very open to criticisms. I am open to questions. I'm open to insights. You should be able to reach me personally via email. So for this first episode, the email that you can reach me at, you can reach me on my personal email. You can also reach me on the podcast email, which is ceo@process.com. Process spelled PROSSESS.com. And that would help with your insights and everything. Would have social media setups very soon to help with various things like communication and setting up a community and much of that. In closing, I hope this excites you as much as it excites me to be bringing you this. I'm looking forward to learning more from other international students, other immigrants that have been on this journey. And I'm also hoping that you will encourage others to listen, and hopefully we would learn a lot together as we embark on this very interesting journey. So, to wrap up, thank you very much for listening to this episode. I hope that you would join me in future episodes. We have a merchandise store if you want to grab yourself a hoodie or a t-shirt in relation to the podcast. So we're starting out hitting the ground. So if you go to Digital Tees, you would find websites. You would find t-shirts out there rather that help you to essentially get into the Leap with Japa excitement like I am. So it's digitaltees.shop. That's digital tees.shop. And I hope you're gonna grab yourself one, and let's take this to the next level. Let's leap with Japa, and let's get this out there. Thank you very much. It's your host and friend and your Japanite. I think I can use that. Japanite friend Saheed Adepoju. Have a nice day. Bye. Thank you. Thank you for tuning into today's episode of Leap with Japa. We hope today's stories and insights have inspired you and brought you closer to the world of international education. Remember, every leap is a story waiting to be told, and we're here to share them one journey at a time. Follow us on our Facebook group, Leap with Japa. Follow us on Twitter, now X, which is Leap_Japa, and TikTok, Leap_Japa. And visit us on our website, leapwithjapa.io, for more resources. Until next time, keep leaping, keep learning. This is Leap with Japa, signing off.